Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Century Countess. In today's video, as you probably know if you've seen the pattern review for the Queen Elizabeth doll dress pattern, we are going to be making a pattern for our Disney Evil Queen doll. So this is the cover of the pattern, index, instructions, and all the patterns that we have. Behind it are instructions, and what's really neat about this pattern, the way it talks or the way it's written out, it's almost like very similar to how you would do a live size dress. So this pattern's very cool. So let's begin with the review with the materials, shall we? Showing the materials. So some of this red fabric for probably the petticoat and undersleeves. And if you remember the bodice that I made for the semi-accurate Evil Queen costume, which I will finish eventually, it's just right now I am on a high schedule, so I only have time to do a small version right now. But here's the fabric, what's left of the fabric from the bodice. I have lots of it, so there's plenty to make the upper dress. And then I also have this black. This was a belt that I had made for a dress that I never, well, the skirt of a Edwardian gown that I never finished. So I just undid it. It needs to be ironed out before we get started on it. But I was thinking that this could be the petticoat that shows through. I'm going to try to make the miniature dress for the Evil Queen doll look sort of like the semi-accurate dress that I'm making for the for myself, basically, for the semi-accurate Evil Queen costume. So it will look sort of like it, but not exact. It will have the fabrics that are being used for it. So that's about it. Pencil sharpener. We have two pencils, a fabric pencil and a bright watercolor pencil. I've always found using watercolor pencils for darker colors much more easier than these, because sometimes they just do not want to draw, and this is like a whitish silver, and I thought that would be perfect, but it hasn't really worked well. Your choice of sewing threads, of course. And then two pairs of scissors, this one for paper cutting out the pattern, and then my new one for fabric cutting. So that's that. And you also need a model. And then here she is, the Evil Queen, Disney's Evil Queen. Let me fix her necklace. I put her in this gorgeous recycled Barbie dress, and it's actually two pieces from two different recycled dolls. You know, this came from a World Barbie Medieval, and I thought some purple veil would look good with this dress, so I put her in that. But today we are going to make her a ball gown out of the Elizabethan pattern. So, without further ado, let's get started. Snip, snip, snip. So we have all the patterns cut out, so I'm going to separate them all off camera, and then when I get back, we'll start doing the pattern out layout. I think we'll start with the petticoat first. So I'm going to sort this out and I'll be right back. So we have our patterns laid out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pin them down so they're all secure. And then after that, I'm going to take one of our pencils, trace it down, and then I'm going to cut them out. So enjoy that. So we got the petticoat and the sleeve cut out, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of the pattern tracing and cutting out off camera, and I will be back with all the cut pieces. So I will be back soon. So we're back, and let me turn the light on real quick. There we go. Here are all the pattern pieces. They're all cut out. As you can see, I used the yellow watercolor pencil for the more darker fabric. So here's the thing that I discovered with the petticoat. The purple of the upper dress had a cut on fold along with the bodice, but with the petticoat there was no cut on fold. So that means the center front piece is going to have like a little sew piece. Now that can be hidden, but because I know it will be there, I need to cover it with something. So that means I need to get some trimming. So we're going to go take a trip to Joann's fabric store. I think they're open on Sundays. I'm going to go check. If not, I will probably continue tomorrow. And then we'll get started on sewing the petticoat and the sleeve, and add the trims, add all the pretties, and then from there we'll work on the upper outfits and the decor and everything. So what I'm going to do now is, off camera, I am going to do a quick fabric shop list. I'm going to create a budget real quick, and then from there I'm going to examine the pieces to see what I may need to add, so I don't come back and then I can't really do a reveal without final touches. You know, I want to make sure that I have all the touches, because so far with the upper part of the purple dress, it's going to be a little bit plain. So we're going to do that real quick, and I will be right back and we can get started. Bad news, everyone. I just got done going to Joann's, and some of the more smaller trimmings that would have looked great, that would have really made the costume pop, were kind of out of stock. The items that I was thinking of. Also, what items that they had that was close was a little too much. I mean, one item would have been half the budget that I intended. So I wasn't going to go into Joann's and come out with like something that I wasn't satisfied with, and then something that was too expensive. So I decided I'll order what I want, or probably Monday I'll go to the other fabric shop that I know of and check there. And then there's also another Joann's that I know of that I'll also check and see if they might have it in stock at that Joann's. If not, I'll have to order what's left. So for now, I'm going to at least do this rough for you guys. So we got some a little bit of this stiffened cotton fabric, and I'm just going to cut it out real quick. Okay, get rid of the excess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this out, the interfacing, just a little bit. Well, it's not interfacing, it's cotton. I'm going to try to flatten this out a bit, stiffen it up some, and then iron it some more. And then I will do that all off camera, and then we'll go with, our next will be sewing this by hand, then sliding it in, and then we'll see what the ruff looks like afterwards. So I will be right back. So interesting bits, people. I just ironed this on the cotton method, and then it not only flattened it out, but it actually made homemade stiffener. It's almost like literally homemade stiffener. Literally, I gotta show you. I literally gotta show you. So here's the scrap, and I have it folded, so it's like nice and thick. These are literally pieces now washed, literally washed. So actually, just to be safe. And so thickness here. Let me move my glass of water. I don't want to spill that. So literally, see, you got this quilted cotton side, then you got the area that I stiffen up. So you got this strong, almost like stiffener stuff, while this is like very flimsy. I mean, look, that just, look how weak that is. But then this, it's like, it does have a little bit of a rip, but it's stiff. It's like a stiffener. So what a great idea and an unexpected surprise. So I can literally make homemade stiffener with this stuff. So I gotta definitely remember where I bought this. So anyway, we're going to go back to the project of the ruff. So I'm going to start sewing this up. I'm going to do it in high speed. So I'm trying to make sure it's in the camera view so you can see me just stitch it away. And then afterwards I am going to flip it right side out, iron it, slip this vein in there, adjust it if I need to by trimming it some, then ironing it, and then we'll have our little Evil Queen Elizabethan ruff. So I'm going to get started on that right now. So this is the first round of stitching. Now I'm going to rethread the needle, and then I'm going to go over it again from this side to that side instead of how I did it before. And that way it's perfectly stitched in. Then I'm going to iron it off camera, flip it over, and then we'll put it in our homemade surprise stiffener that we just created without. So we'll get back to you on that. And here we have it. We have the ruff for the Evil Queen / Elizabethan doll dress costume. So now that's out of the way, since we can't do the trimmings, I will at least sew the skirt pieces together, not fully, just enough to where they're out flat, and then when I get all the trimmings and everything, I will do that. So I'm going to get started with that. You know, just thinking about it now, this is so silly. A pattern piece, a pattern front piece that does not have a center fold. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out real quick and make it a center fold. That way, instead of it being these two pieces, that is going to have something that you're going to have to cover up, and it's not going to make any sense at all. So yeah, I'm going to get back with you on that, and then that way we have the dress all together. Much better. This is much better. So we got that, and it's not going to look so weird. So I'm going to iron it, and then I am going to go ahead and stitch it all off camera, and we will see what it looks like all stitched up. I shall be right back. And we're back. As you can see, all the pieces of the skirt and upper skirt have been sewn together. I laid them side by side after I ironed them a little bit with the ruff. And so that's what we have done for today. And that's what we're going to cut off for with this part of the sewing the Evil Queen Elizabethan themed ball gown. I want to get my trimming first before I start sewing it, like the back pieces together, because if you put the trimmings on the pieces while it's flat, including the bodice, which is here, and both pieces of the sleeve, it will be much easier to do that before you sew it all together. Also, I took some of the black fabric and sewed this seam line for the upper slit sleeves. That way there's a seam, nice little bit of black, you know, like I said, because in the semi-accurate costume for myself, I'm sticking with the Evil Queen colors as much as possible, and her colors were red, purple, white, black, gold. So I'm going to stick with those colors, try not to add any other colors. And so that wraps it up for today. I hope you like this first part of the Evil Queen doll dress ball gown making. I will see you in the next video where I start stitching on the trimmings, sewing the pieces, finishing it off, and doing our first fitting for the Evil Queen doll. So I'll see you later. Please subscribe, hit that bell, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.